Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now March 25th of 2023, and as we get closer to The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 21, a lot of fans are really looking forward to seeing exactly what the next episode is going to offer by John and Dave, since a lot of fans responded, pretty decently to Chapter 20, given that we had, of course, Ahmad Best coming in as Kelleran and a new Jedi, of course, saving Grogu, all these different aspects thrown in there. But on top of that, we also have the fact that Kathleen Kennedy has been going through a very rough and tough time between herself, the Disney executives, the board members, Bob Iger, and more. And the latest is a great example of exactly how sneaky Kathleen Kennedy can really be, so let's tap right into all of this. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that Kathleen Kennedy has been up to her games for a couple of years now, always trying to find ways to diminish the value of George Lucas's work. I mean, this is just a given fact. She herself even stated out loud to the audience that she believes that fans need to separate their ways from George Lucas's vision and his outlook on Star Wars, and that fans that are just hanging on to George's idea of Star Wars are just a burden. That's what she calls a large portion of the fans. A burden, basically. But the latest is a great example of exactly how crazy Kathleen Kennedy can really become when she makes specific choices that Disney really got very much frustrated about and made an ultimatum and really, got Kathleen Kennedy into even more trouble. So let's get into it. Now, we know that everything related to the Acolyte series has been a very big mess for the past couple of months, with many new Star Wars TV shows currently in the works. Disney and the executives have been going over many plans for the future of Star Wars. However, it's described that recently Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy got herself into big trouble again with the Disney board after she made one of the worst decisions of the Acolyte TV series. Recently, Kathleen Kennedy is said to have reinstated the already deleted footage that Disney specifically instructed Kathleen Kennedy to not use that established in the canon that there was another chosen one before Anakin Skywalker. Kennedy is said to have told the editors of the series to throw the scene back in the timeline of how the show will roll once they begin post-production for The Acolyte in the next couple of months. With Kennedy authorizing the scene's revival, Disney caught wind of this and immediately stepped in and had a very tough meeting with her about including such a controversial scene that would only spark an uproar from fans. Disney is now cutting back on their budget more so for The Acolyte in response to Kennedy authorizing the scene's revival without their knowledge, and also they are not letting the scene actually get past them, as they are going to be requiring test footage for the series to be supplied every single week for every single episode. So let me stop here quickly, alright, before I get to the next big development, is that basically Kathleen Kennedy was trying to sneak footage into The Acolyte, into the actual show, and she believed that Disney wouldn't have noticed such a small minor detail. In her mind, it's a small minor detail. To the fans, it's a very big deal to completely erase the fact that Anakin was the true chosen one and that he was the chosen one prophecy. Kathleen Kennedy wanted to rid of that. She wanted to take away the significance of the Skywalker lineage. She wanted to take away the importance of Shmi Skywalker, basically, and it doesn't give you a good image. Not only are you going against fans, you're also going against Disney's specific instructions previously to not use that previously shot footage. And so this is where we begin to understand more and more about exactly what Kathleen Kennedy's motives are all about. It really is all about downgrading George Lucas's Star Wars and building something new on top of it by using the Star Wars label, the Star Wars brand name, to make her own stories. Because she knows without the Star Wars logo, she can't create her own stories, she can't create her own successful material, and so that's exactly why, you see all these things happening with Kathy and Leslye. Even Leslye Headland, admitted that she never watched the prequels from start to finish. She's not really a fan at all, so to speak. Sure, she's read some of the EU books and stuff like that, but she's really not a fan. She even openly made that clear to the entire fandom. And that to me rings, a bell, because this is kind of like what Joby Harold said, the writer of the Kenobi series, and we all know how that turned out, right? A lot of fans were divided over that show. Anyways, on to the next thing here, alright? So, with that being put out there, the Scenes revival by Kennedy is now officially not happening, thankfully, and that the after effects of Kennedy making such a move cut back the budgeting of the Acolyte for post-production by 15% to save revenue, as Disney remains to actually have no confidence for this show yet, regardless of her motive. John and Dave are about to supply Disney with new test footage of revised scenes for the Acolyte in an attempt to fix the show for the fans. Bob Iger also will be looking over John and Dave's efforts to save the Acolyte series. John and Dave's plan is to make a season 2 of the Acolyte possible, where they can take over the show completely as well. Now, about that, do I think that John and Dave deserve to take over the Acolyte series? Yes. Do I think it's necessary? I don't think so. I think that given that the Acolyte, where it stands right now, it's not a good series, both story-wise and both, set-wise, because they've had so many different set problems, and that had to be replaced with CGI, and we've heard, of course, the Disney executives being very, not confident about the show because of how lackluster the sets looked, how cheap everything appeared to be, how they overpaid for each episode. A lot of episodes, by the way, were in the range of $15 million to $20 million. I mean, that's crazy. And it was reported that, the Acolyte series is going to be 8 whole episodes long. Now, that's not all that much. Sure, they want to make it 60 minutes each, and so that kind of makes up for how short it's going to be. And I know that's the typical Mandalorian length, but with a show like The Acolyte, there's so much to tell that they were originally setting it up for 12 whole episodes. Then it got diminished down to 10. And then it got diminished down to 8. Now, this is all because of Kathleen Kennedy and really getting the Disney executives, very, much losing their confidence over the show and pulling back on a lot of episodes to save revenue, to not only save up for the marketing, but to also save up space for, of course, the Acolyte series itself, because they felt a lot of scenes were just filler, they felt a lot of scenes didn't make much sense with the test footage that was supplied to, and so that really caused more issues. But here we stand today, Kathleen Kennedy once again, really trying to sneak things in, of course, with everything related to the Acolyte, Leslye, and all the like, and how she's trying to really kind of reinvent Star Wars, and all the fans are seeing it now. Everyone's seeing through her motive and what she really wants to do with George Lucas and more. So anyways, with that being all put out there, we know that the Acolyte is going to get another delay. It's very possible at this point. I don't think it's coming out in the first quarter of 2024. I think it's going to be pushed till the middle of that year easily. But anyways, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.